Welcome back to 4 Geeks by Geeks, the place where geeks come to geek out. You guys, I'm Boser, and we're back. We're doing it. We're here. It's been weeks since we had the last Geek Out Sesh. If you weren't aware, my laptop got stolen last time I visited Chicago. Thanks, Chicago. So I lost everything, and I couldn't stream because I stream from my laptop. And yeah, so that sucks, but we got a new one. We're here. You're here. Thank you guys for coming back. I missed you. It's just me tonight, no T. He had to be a dad and stuff, I guess. So you're just stuck with me and my energy all night long. Plus my guest, which I can't wait for you to meet. And I can't wait to meet. We talked a little bit, but I've got so many questions. If this is your very first Geek Out Sesh, welcome. Thanks for hanging out here live on Twitch, 8:30 on a Monday night, where we have amazing guests on and we geek out about their passions, artists, cosplays, gamers, game developers, writers. I say artists? Yeah, I did. All the coolest people on the internet are here hanging out with us for some reason, but they do. And if you're watching back on YouTube or listening back on podcast, thank you. We love you. Come hang by the Twitch stream sometime and be part of the conversation. Like Alec, as always, is here. Thoramir is here. Shout out if you guys are here in the chat so I can give you some love. I feel like I forgot how to do this, honestly. This whole day has been a day. My brain just wasn't braining, and I felt like I was driving on square wheels. Do you know what I mean? Like everything was just really clunky and hard. And so I'm going to get tongue-tied, but that's fine. And if I run into new technical difficulties, because we're running this girl on the new laptop, and, you know, there's just so many things that when it's always there, like you get used to it, like this button or this asset or this video or whatever is just always there. I keep running into it every time it's not there, and it's so annoying. But we're making it work. At least I have a new laptop. That's the important thing. And I hope whoever stole my old one was feeding a baby with it or something. Not feeding the laptop to the baby, like selling the laptop to feed the baby. Never mind. Sorry, Alec, I'm trying to keep up. What'd you say? T tried to copy my joke. What joke? What'd you say for it first? I haven't been writing. So that means I thought of it first and added more idea. Good evening. Hi, Canadian Dice. Welcome to the stream. If you haven't already, use command QOTD for the question of the day. I want to know, what's the most embarrassing thing that you've ever worn? This could be like something you've worn in real life that looking back on it now, it's super embarrassing, or something you wore specifically on purpose. Boser just completely ignoring me. Hi, T. This is weird. I'm not used to this. What was the joke? I missed the joke. I'm just popping in to say hi to a new friend. We have family over. Love you. Oh, hi, T. Hi. T's on the 4 Geeks. What's it called? Channel? I told you I can't do this. But something embarrassing that I've worn. Well, a lot of like the 90s clothes, now they're making a comeback. But back then, I mean, I guess they were normal back in the 90s, but looking back, like I had so many pair of windbreaker pants. So many. My mom would call them my swishy pants, because you walk and go. Or what I had in vast quantities were those cargo pants that zipped off. Like you could wear pants, and then if you got hot, you can just unzip halfway down the leg, because of course that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get hot, and then what do you do with the pant legs? You just carry them or shove them in the oversized cargo pockets? Thoramir says, I legit used to own a pair of red skin tight leopard print jeans that you wore like unironically, because I feel like you could rock those now. I mean, Janko jeans, yes. Huge jeans, the biggest. And now that I've had my skinny jeans, like I am millennial through and through. You're never taking those away. They stretch. They're comfy. You can sleep in them. Evening, John. Evening, guys, and hooray for Geek Out Seshes return. Yes, we are back. But I know y'all didn't come in here to listen to me gab all night long, because I've got somebody waiting in the wings that I am thrilled to get to know, because they are slowly becoming one of the most interesting people that I've had the chance to talk to because of all that they do. And we, yep, see, that's going to happen tonight. There was a sentence that stopped dead in its tracks. But anyway, please give it up for tonight's geek guest, the Zack, also known as Scarred Mewtwo. Give it up, you guys. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi. We can hear you. You can see you.
Yeah. Yep. Hello.
Thanks for hanging out, Zack. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired. Just got back from a con, but you know, usually happens on a Monday.
Are you hitting cons like every weekend?
No, but it's con season, so it's been once a month. In the summer, every con decided it's going to be in August, though. Because every con for some, even Dragon Con was like, I'm going to be in August this year. So August is going to be a month if I get accepted into Dragon Con for a performance.
If
they
yeah, right.
They want me.
Better. You've got to be the only person doing what you're doing at these
This
cons,
is true.
Right?
This is true. I have seen other people do other types of cosplay circus, but I don't think people spin in giant wheels while wearing costumes yet, because there are not that many cyrwheelers in the world yet.
And they don't even know, like, no one can just pick that up. Anyway, we're going to get into all of that. If you're tuning in, you're like, what's a cyrwheel? He's a circus performer and a cosplayer? What? Stick around. And then stick around towards the end of the stream, because we're going to test both of our tired brains playing some categories.
Oops.
We're both just going to lose, probably.
So sleepy.
John says, oh, wait, I've seen Zack's TikToks before. Your Thranduil is fabulous.
Yeah. Thank you. Spent 9 months on it.
9 months?
Wait, which one? I have like multiple versions of Thranduil at this point.
Well, before we get into any of it, can you answer the question of the day? What is the most embarrassing thing that you have put on?
Yeah, okay. So I was a Homestuck in 2013, and I wore body paint once, and I don't think I ever want to do that again.
Wait, go back. Homestuck?
Yeah, I started out as a Homestuck. The gray trolls with the candy corn horns.
The what? I have to Google. Is this something that I should know? I've never heard of this.
I mean, if you were at cons in 2013, you couldn't avoid them because they were huge. Yeah.
I'm with you. Y'all Google Homestuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you had to basically paint your entire body gray.
And I did paint my entire body gray, but I sealed the paint. I wasn't one of the bad ones. There's a whole lore. If you need a night's reading, go just look at the Homestuck horror stories of like body paint. It's awful.
Okay, so what kind of body paint were you using?
I was using like the one water-based Snazaroo, which everyone used. You just paint yourself, and it doesn't stay on. I think I'm probably allergic to it because I kept getting snotty while wearing it. So
you're just breaking out in hives, but no one knows because you're also painted gray.
Right.
And okay,
just a bit of con lore for you.
Do you seem like you have been plugged into cons for a long time?
I have been going since 2013. Yes, I was there for the days of anime cons, but also for basically all the conventions that are local. Oh my god, they all started that year too. So it's just been every year.
Yeah, it's like cons have been around forever, but they are a different beast these days.
Oh yeah, no, they're huge. People were like, oh yeah, they're popular because everyone's a giant nerd. So suddenly everyone goes to a convention all the time, which is great.
Cool.
Now that it's cool, right? It wasn't cool back when I started going.
We went when we were still losers, but now we're the coolest on the internet.
I mean, everyone who still goes is still giant nerds, but now it's cool to be a nerd.
We love them.
Exactly.
So for those that haven't followed you on TikTok or Instagram, one of the hundreds of thousands, on the internet. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do as a geek.
I can't separate the two. I usually say circus artist first because I got my degree in circus, but I'm also a cosplayer who does award-winning cosplay. I can brag about that because it's kind of cool.
Hey,
but
super
I,
cool.
yeah, but circus artist first. So I do circus. I'm an aerialist of 8 years? That's wild. 8 years now, and like I've been doing cyrwheel for 5 years, which I don't understand. But majored in cyrwheel because my old coach was like, aerial is oversaturated. I was like, all right, cyrwheel it is. I think I taught myself at some point, and then I got a coach finally.
So you're just like saying things as if it's totally off the cuff, but for you it is. It's your whole life.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, hold on. You can major in circus performing.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go to a specialized school. It's not technically like a full degree. It's like a certificate in circus, unless you go to the one in Montreal. But that one's very exclusive to Canadians specifically.
Oh, they wouldn't let us in as Americans?
They take like 10 non-Canadian students a year, but the competition is so tough there. Like, you get cut on days if they don't want you. They're like, all right, bye-bye. And you're like, okay. That was an experience.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's a whole world of stuff.
I know. I want to know all about it. Can you tell us what, while we're talking, you're working on something?
Yes, I am.
Because it's Con Crunch, and please continue. But what are you working on?
I am making needle lace on a pair of elven underwear for C2E2. So I have the base. It's not very pretty yet because it's only the front. But
elven underwear.
Elven underwear for the Crown Championships this year.
So elves do wear underwear.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
It's been a burning question.
Yeah, it's like 18th century underwear because I fell down the rabbit hole.
Did you like research what would be the appropriate elven underwear?
No, because in medieval times they go underwearless, and I think Tolkien based his worlds on more medieval era. But I do not want to go underwearless at a con because that's nasty.
Yeah, all day.
So I was like, we're gonna figure out the closest thing I can get.
Okay, so then how did you get into all of this? Like, who wakes up, goes to college for circus?
Yeah.
And also I'm gonna sew needle lace underwear all the way.
Well, one happened before the other. I did cosplay kind of casually for a while. I used to just either buy costumes or modify stuff for like years, and then I started circus because I was a gymnast for 10 years, hated it, quit, and then was like, I have a void. Filled the void with circus with aerials, but you get bored of I started with silks, and you get bored of just one. Then you have to keep it. You add them like Pokemon. You have to get them all. And so I started with,
them all.
Yeah, you got to collect all the skills. Yeah. So I started with silks, moved on to rope. Rope got kind of boring, moved on, and then there was a cyrwheel randomly in a corner. And at this point, I was already like ready to go to circus school because I didn't know what else to do with my life. I wanted to do physics at some point, but I'm not smart with math. I want to do physics because it's interesting, but I am not that smart in math. And my sister took astrophysics last year, and I was like, I would not have survived that. So we did circus instead because it was the easier option, and I made it into one of the schools that I auditioned for.
What's that audition process like? Like,
do
you have to do an entire routine?
So it's usually 3 or 4 days, and you start with dance, theater, and then you have basic acro skills like flips, and then you have strength and conditioning, and then they interview you after you perform an act, which is usually just you really sweaty in a room after you finish your act.
Out of breath.
You're inhaling, and they're asking all these questions. You're like, I am confused. So that's how it starts. That's how it went for me. Somehow they were like, this person is kind of cool. Okay, we'll let them in. Nice. So it worked.
And is that like a 4-year program?
3 years. Yes. So it's you like most conservatory programs, like dance conservatory. So it's more in that range, but they all follow the same Montreal program. So Montreal
first began was up in Montreal.
Nope.
That everyone's basing this off of.
The one in Montreal is just the biggest one that has direct ties to Cirque du Soleil.
Oh,
That's the big one that everyone wants in, because you get guaranteed circ jobs pretty much out of that one. But again, they only take 10 non-Canadian students a year, and there were like over 100 people auditioning the year that I auditioned, so that's fun.
oof.
Yeah.
So then which circus school did you end up going to?
Circadium, it's the one in Philadelphia that I think is the only one in the United States that does full circus programming. So yeah, there are other programs in the US, but yeah, Circadium is the one that I went to. So I lived in Philly for 3 years.
Okay. I just had no idea these existed, but this makes sense. There's so many people that are able to do these. They have to learn somewhere.
Yeah, there's also some in UK. So they've got 2, and then there's a couple. There's one in Russia that's more traditional. There's a couple in France. And
that's it? There's like literally a handful of these schools.
Yeah,
all over the globe.
Some in Spain, yeah, and you just choose the one that you want to go to depending on your specialty, or even just depending on where you live, or if they let you in. And the one in the UK is the most expensive one, which is fine.
It's fine. Just the breads. And when you decided to go to school for circus, did you have any vision of your life going in this direction that it's gone now?
No, actually, I wanted to not cosplay in circus school because I was like, I am a circus artist. Circus artists are weird. They're like artsy fartsy theater artists, so they're a little scary, and they just want everything to have meaning. And I was like, I don't want to cosplay. But it took me about half a year of saying that until I gave up and did it again.
It just kept sucking you back in, or what?
Yeah, it's always that one character that gets you. You're like, I want to make that now, and then you're like, oh nope, here it goes.
And what was that one character that sucked you back?
Spectra from Bakugan. Okay, so it's the TV show with the tiny little balls that roll out and they're magnetized and they have monsters. It's like a Pokemon knockoff. That character from the second season, because he had such a wild costume. I was like, what if I did that? Now, I had no sewing skills yet at the time because my costumes before that were just modified and hand sewn, because that's how you start when you're a child, and then you become 18 and suddenly you're sent off on your way.
And everyone just trusts you to know what you're doing for the rest of your life.
Right. No.
So, okay, little Zack is graduated from Circadia.
Yep.
He likes cosplaying.
Yeah.
And what, do they send you home with a cyrwheel, like just to keep in your back pocket?
Nope. I bought 2 cyrwheels. I bought one in 2018, and I bought my second one in 2021 when I desperately needed a cyrwheel that wasn't super slippery, because they're covered in rubber, and I spun the first one to the bone, to the metal part. It was an experience.
Do you mind if I give people a visual of what we're talking about?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna look at your Instagram feed.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of videos with either cyrwheel. I don't know which one.
Okay, so help us out. Narrate with a little bit what we're seeing here.
Okay, so the first one is my graduation act. So that's what I graduated with. So
this one.
That is, yeah. I graduated it. That was the act I made when I graduated circus school. I made the costume because I desperately wanted to make something extravagant. And my coaches were actually into it. Sometimes they weren't into the cosplay thing because they're not nerds, but that's okay.
They were just silent, or probably not so silently judging you.
They were just like, you know what, we're just gonna let him do his thing, because at this point, what's the point of not?
So
I desperately,
Cyr, C-Y-R.
Yeah.
Is that like short for something?
Named after the guy who made it. His name is Daniel Cyr. He started in Montreal, and he created the cyrwheel like 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Okay.
It's really new. There's a reason very few people do it in the world.
Is it because of like the difficulty level?
It is also very hard. So cyrwheel is something that you will never be able to cross-train, because it's something completely different than anything you've ever done before. Because you're basically catching and falling on a giant steel wheel, and then you're using it. It's balance, but it's also everything else. And it's also like 50% just mental, like figuring it out, because it's terrifying to try new things on that thing.
Yeah,
But
I was watching back some of your videos, and all I could think about is, like, everybody fails first with everything they
yeah,
do usually, but
yeah.
how do you even fail and get better? How do you practice with this thing?
Yeah, just keep practicing. I mean, when I first started, it was in my really old studio. Somebody randomly left their cyrwheel there, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna use it because nobody else is. Used it and just kept trying. When you first start, you physically cannot build momentum because you're terrified of falling backwards. You go back in this way and
Right.
this way. So you eventually figure out how the whole thing works. It took me a while.
How much does that
um,
thing weigh?
so that one's my 30 pound. I have a 35 pound, but there are friends who've showed me and let me use their 40 pound wheels, and not gonna lie, I'm almost convinced.
Is heavier better in that kind of instance? Is it, like, easier to
No,
ground?
it's easier to use. The momentum dies a little slower,
Uh-huh.
so it takes a little less effort. I like the 25 pound because it's easier to manipulate, so you can do different things with different wheels.
Okay.
But for someone like me I've done 2 conventions where they've put me on carpet instead of a stage.
Uh-huh.
Carpet is the worst surface for cyrwheel, so I had to spin this weekend on a carpet that just sucked the momentum out of it. So
Because of what, the friction?
yeah, so it just kills it. It's also kind of like bouncy,
Uh-huh.
so it like sinks you, and then you just work harder to get around. It's a lot.
I'm just, like John said, it looks absolutely mesmerizing in motion.
Because it was shiny back then.
It's not
longer
shiny
that
now, it's all
shiny.
dull.
No, it's blackened. The joint's blackened because I didn't get the more expensive one that has the thing that makes them not blacken. Like, it's only aesthetic, but
Uh-huh.
you can spend an extra like $200 and get them to stay shiny forever. But no, I'll just let it darken.
So, which 101 or 201 class are you taking at Circus College to learn this kind of skill? Like, what
I
kind of,
mean,
I guess, muscles are you using for this thing?
so cyrwheel is kind of like an all over, but it's mostly legs. You're squatted so that the wheel can, like, you use your legs, but there's a lot of arm. It's like everything, basically. It's a really all over, like, training thing. Unlike aerials where you only use your legs, this is also where you only use your arms. This is leg and arms. But you can't cross train it, so you just train cyrwheel.
And when you mean cross train, like, you're saying that
Like,
aerials
yeah.
or silks aren't
So
going to help you.
usually in most circus arts, you cross train. For acro, you can do handstands. If you're doing flips, you also do handstands. If you're doing aerials, you also want to do trampoline for air time and air awareness. And for aerials, you can cross train all the different aerial apparatus. And then most people have like a couple of things that they put together, like handstand and contortion, stuff like that. Steer wheel is a very thing. You cannot actually cross train anything to help you in steer wheel. It's such a singular thing.
Yeah, like only using the cereal more will help you.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was cracking up because I was on your website, and
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the frequently asked questions was, "Do you smash your fingers?"
That's surprisingly, it still gets asked. I get why, but if you think about it for more than 1 second, you'll realize that I'm in a handstand when I do those, and you can't do a handstand like this. You have to do it like this. This is the trick, is palms open. So I think I can count on my fingers the amount of times I've rolled over them, and it was mostly because I was casually chilling out in the wheel or I was learning a new thing.
Uh-huh. So when you're upside down, you're not really using the wheel. It's more of your hands.
Yeah, I'm using my hands to push.
Okay.
So it's all about pushing and pulling. It's all physics and momentum. It's cool.
I feel like I want to give you a round of applause for that performance.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was my magnum opus. Surprisingly, I've gotten better since then, even though I've trained less, but, very valid.
And I've seen a lot of videos that happen in this room.
Yeah, this is the YMCA. The YMCA gracefully and graciously lets me spin in their space. So this is like sort of their dance room. They're like workout studio, so I use it a lot to film because I can close the door and then people still walk in on me, but less than if I were on a basketball court, which is where I tend to train.
You mean any circus?
Yeah.
Performance spaces near
Performance
you now?
spaces. I am not in the luck. The best ones are at colleges, but you have to no. So yeah, performance spaces are hard to get, especially if you're trying to do anything remotely not in their radar. So that's the best place I got until I figure out where I can go. I'm trying to call around to get a better demo reel eventually.
And so I'm showing some other amazing things that you're good at. Is this ropes?
Yeah, I minored in aerial rope. That was my minor.
In aerial rope. That's a thing.
That's a thing? Oh, it's the only thing in circus school.
And here I thought I disappointed my parents by minoring in dance.
Oh, no, man. I am the family disappointment, which is fine. They think it's cool, but nothing more than that.
How many times did you get? Okay, but are you going to get a real job? Are you going to get a real degree?
Oh, my God. I mean, when I visited my family in Germany recently, 2 years ago, and it was always so what are you going to do with your life? I'm like, dude, I don't know. That's fine.
So is this what you do full time?
I try to. I also do social media and cosplay sort of as well. So it's sort of everything. I'm also a circus coach, so I teach kids how to do aerials. I also taught at a college for a little bit, and hopefully they'll ask me back in the fall. That was fun.
By the way, hi Sprinkler Winkler. Thanks for the lurk. Thanks for hanging out. If you're just joining us, we're here with Zack. How do you say your last name?
Herzig. It's German.
That's how I was going to say it, but I didn't want to mess it up.
No, that's valid.
I took some German in high school.
Yeah.
A little bit of German.
A little bit.
And you said family over there. Is that where you're originally from?
My whole family is from Germany. I am the first of my I'm the first of my family to be born in the United States.
Well, congratulations. Good for you.
Thank you.
We're apologies, depending on how you feel about it.
Yeah.
So, I don't even know where you start. Do you ever grow up?
No. That's the whole point.
How, though? Because you can't traditionally spot, can you?
Nope. I was a gymnast for 10 years. I was used to flipping around. I just my body understands it all. I do have kids and people I've taught in aerial who will have reactions if, they spin for the first time and they're like, ooh. So you have to kind of know what you're doing or your body doesn't yet understand. So it's happened to other people, but not me specifically yet.
Just throwing up while spinning.
They do it afterwards.
Oh, good.
It'll happen in the car usually.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are this badass cyrwheeler. Is that the appropriate term?
Yeah, that's a pretty good term.
And also an amazing needleist.
I just do a lot of things with the sewing needle.
So talk to us about the background there. How did you become so good at this?
So in 2019, when I bought the first sewing machine, I made that costume with no idea how to sew.
Really?
I used YouTube. I don't think I've actually taken a sewing class. I just learned from YouTube because you can learn everything on YouTube. So I learned from YouTube, made the worst costume. I think it was falling apart. And it had no hems, and it was ugly, but it was a costume and it functioned. But the thing is that when you make that, you feel powerful, and then you're like, I can make everything. And so I kept going. And then I made another, and then I made my first pair of wings. I don't know how that worked out, but that was surprising. That was my first competition, and I like attention if it isn't obvious. I like getting on stage and having people be like, that's cool for 5 minutes, and then running away.
I wouldn't know anything about being needy for attention at all.
Right.
No, with you.
No, not at all. And so then I kept going, and I think I sucked for a while. I got my first good sewing machine in late 2019, early 2020. And
okay. And what are you working on? I mean, what's the machine?
I worked. So this one This one was a brother with the Project One Ray brother. I don't think I've used anything that goes above $200 yet, so you don't need fancy machines. No.
Okay.
Yeah, so all my machines are literally things you can buy from Joann's.
Especially now that they have kind of partnered with Yaya Han.
Yeah.
To try to carry some more cosplay items.
Cosplay fabrics, yeah.
Every Joann fabrics except the one next to my house.
Right?
I went there looking for EVA foam a couple weeks ago, and they had nothing.
Oh, yeah, no.
They had like little sheets, and that was it. They were like 8 by 11.
Yeah, the little sheets are all you're going to get at Joann's, so that's for emergencies only. But
they used to carry the big shit. I remember when they first announced it.
Yep. It went a little smaller because I guess 2019 was like the year of cosplay when it first got super popular. I remember that. Yeah. And then it's not died down, but the big box retailers stopped carrying. Michael's lost their big EVA foam rolls, so.
Yeah. I just got so excited. I was at C2E2 that year.
Yeah.
And
so was I.
I'm probably there to see you compete. Have you competed every year?
I didn't do Crown in 2020. I got denied from Crown 2020. So you have to send in an application for Crown. And you either get a yes or a no. And I sent in my screen accurate Kylo Ren costume, but it was tragically made. It was very tragically made. So it was good. It was accurate, but it wasn't what they were looking for. So I got denied. I competed in the Sunday contest. That was the first year they had that. So that was fun.
I think I missed it that time this Sunday.
That's very valid. But yeah, 2020, I did not do Crown.
So again, if anybody's like, what's Crown? It's this sucker. What year is this?
2021, the December one.
Okay. And it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's an international cosplay competition that...
Yes. So you get,
every year.
Yep, you have qualifiers at C2, and then after the qualifiers, you'll get they choose winners. They go against New York Comic Con and Emerald City Comic Con, and then whoever wins that one goes on to the international competition, and then they go against all the people in the world. It's wild. It's wild because it's like big. It's strange.
Yeah, it's huge. The first time I watched it, at first I was disappointed that I wouldn't see the international one because I didn't understand how it worked. And then they're like, wait 5 minutes. We're doing the international right here, right now.
It happens right afterwards. Yep.
It's honestly one of my favorite things that happens at C2E2.
You just get to see all the cool people from around the world and you get to meet them too. And that's the best part is that you're just like, oh yeah, cosplay is so relevant everywhere. Everywhere. It's so cool.
And even I feel like it's even more celebrated in other countries.
Yeah. But also not really. Everyone is really cool about it, but also it's all really the same. It's obscure, but not obscure because people are giant nerds and they cosplay, but also people are like, people cosplay? Wild.
It's almost like an insular community, I guess. Those of us who are in it and recognize it, of course, we talk about it. We see it everywhere. But if you're not in it, you just cock your head, especially if you're cosplaying inside of a cyrwheel.
Right.
But so then this year, do we get to look forward to you performing the cyrwheel while cosplaying?
Nope, not at C2. They got rid of their performance part of their competitions on Sunday. So I got to do that one year, but never did it again because they got rid of the performance part. So I think I'm going to try and get up to Fan Expo Chicago again later the summer because I performed there last year. And then obviously I applied for Dragon Con. So we'll see what Dragon Con says about performance because then that means that I have to drive to Atlanta to get one of the hotels in the Battle of the Hotel, which is probably already sold out.
Honestly.
It's Dragon Con.
I got lucky. Well, I didn't get anything super close, but I literally just booked my hotel this past weekend for C2.
Oh, man.
I don't know how I found it, but it's probably this hole in the wall shitty place, but oh well. I'll be all weekend. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
So then you're cosplaying, you're cyrwheeling. What made you want to be the cyrwheel cosplay guy? Because now you've got a huge following on TikTok and on Instagram. People are like even here in the chat like, oh, I've seen you and I didn't even realize that I've seen you.
Yeah. It just sort of happened. I made a TikTok in like
Yeah.
2019 because I was bored. I was like, I need new social media because Instagram has some issues with algorithms, and I was very much not dealing with it. And so I was like,
Yeah.
I started TikTok, and I randomly posted a video, and it went viral, and I was like, oh no. And then I wanted to keep doing it because I'd made that like Kylo Ren costume that worked really well, and then I just kept doing it. And I posted during school. I think I'd always go into the dance studio and just post. Like the school dance studio was a little nicer than the YMCA studio, so it had
Yeah.
like neutral walls. The only thing was it had a giant ballet bar in the back, which is fine. So I went in there all the time and took videos. What really happened was 2020 happened. I took I took one video of me cosplaying Legolas on the cyrwheel, and that's what did it. The Legolas one, I think, is the one most people have seen because that one went mega viral on most platforms. And I was like, okay, so this is a thing I'm doing now.
Why do you think Legolas caught the attention that the others didn't?
It's just weird. How many times have you seen? I mean, Legolas cosplays, first of all, are super obscure. So you barely see them. And then suddenly seeing a random one doing the wheel, you're like, okay, so that's weird. And there it goes.
I like the ones where you have pieces of costume kind of flowing from you.
Oh, yeah. Those are always fun, but also terrifying.
Yeah, because it doesn't ever get caught up.
So I have a rule. I can't go past my knees or my ankles if I have something on my person, because then it will get caught under the wheel, especially if I'm doing like turns where I'm going upside down. I can't. It'll get caught under the wheel. So I have to fix. And so most of the costumes that I wear on cyrwheel are not the big costumes that I wear.
Mhm.
They're all small, tiny boys. So it's kind of an experience. I try to make them movable. I have a few that don't move very well, but I still wear them because they work. But like the big ones that work are obviously Legolas, and then Anakin Skywalker is my favorite because it moves so well. Like my specifically just regular Anakin.
Mm-hmm. Ugh, how many cosplays do you have? I'm watching
I
this
have
compilation
so many.
video.
I have been
I've yet to see a
collecting.
new one.
I have been collecting for years. Many.
Yo, what's up, Raiders? Let's get rolling with the party at 10. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. We are here live with Zack Herzig, that cosplayer in the big cyrwheel that you've seen on TikTok and Instagram. And he's working away because he's getting ready for the Crown Championships cosplay at C2E2 in a few weeks. So thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
I had something. We're all struggling here. We're on.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Who decided that Geek Out Seshes should be on Monday? Oh, I
don't know. Oh yeah, huh?
Hit me. I'm the problem. But if this is your first Geek Out Sesh, welcome. We do this every Monday. Stop by and meet somebody amazing every week. You said you have so many cosplays. Like, do you have a full closet just of like hundreds?
I just have bins. I have bins of cosplay. I have a garment rack of like other stuff, but it's mostly just they're in bins. So I try to condense them as much as possible because they're hard to condense. The hardest ones are armor.
So you can't just hold that up.
No, I got my still suit, so my still suit armor for Dune. That just sits on its own casually in a corner.
Do you have like a mannequin that it's riding on?
No, my mannequin stays free because I tend to use it every day. But also my mannequin doesn't actually fit my cosplay because they make one standard size of like male dress form, and it's slightly too big. So the minute I tailor it to me, it no longer fits the mannequin, which is fine with me, but storing is hard.
That seems like in 2023, we should have different sizes of dress forms.
You can get different sizes, but then you have to get a custom mannequin. That sucks. Pricey. They're expensive.
Yeah. Hi, let's get rolling. I'm happy to see your face too, even though I can't see your face, but I feel like I see your face. I know it's been a minute. I'm here. I'm back. And I forgot how to do it all. So then, what's the goal? Like, do you have any future goals, or are you just kind of chaotic, moving forward, seeing what happens?
Right now, it's all chaotic because random things have happened, which is cool. But I would like to do a contract with a big company, either Cirque du Soleil or like Seven Fingers. But I'm not quite there yet for their skill levels, so I'm still working on getting the right skills, and then I'll put my stuff in probably in the next year, see what happens. The rest of it, I'd like to do more conventions. I don't know, I'd love to get out to like San Diego or like the big ones, but it's just a lot of that.
How are you not good enough? Like, what more do they need from you?
Oh my goodness, it's wild. So the cyrwheel artists that come to them are so talented, and half of them went to the school in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
So I am, for reference, pretty run-of-the-mill for professionals. Fun fact. If you ever go on, like, if you look at some cyrwheel artists, you'll find, like, the most insane people. Like, I'm run-of-the-mill. I've got all the basic skills, I've got all the intermediate skills, some advanced skills, but there are some people who are just insane. That's who they want.
Like, are you lacking in some sort of skill? Like, what's
I have no back skill. So there's a front space on the cyrwheel, right? You go forward, you can do coins, you can do cartwheels, you can do all of that backwards too. You can do back handsprings, you can do back coins, you can do back cartwheels, and that's the stuff that I lack in. Which is the stuff that sets them apart for Cirque, because they take really high level people. Usually they take acrobats or like gymnasts and they train them to do anything. So wild.
Well, I'm impressed. I'll hire you.
Cool.
I have no company that you would get the exposure you need.
Yeah.
But for what it's worth. Well, I can't wait to see this in action.
Yeah.
Someday. Are you going to be bringing a cyrwheel to C2E2?
No, I cannot, because they don't have a space or they don't have a performance contest. Otherwise, I would have done the performance contest again, but they had Masquerade 1 year. Never again.
Let's just go out in the street and do it.
Yeah, other than the fact that my cyrwheel... Streets are hard. Cyrwheels, right now, you can do outdoor stuff with wheels, but then your skin dies really fast because you got like a PVC rubber skin on your wheel. I got mine reskinned like a year ago. I spent way too much money on it, so now I am really precious, and I'm like, do not touch that skin to the outside. That was too expensive.
Can I ask what a cyrwheel runs for?
Oh, okay. So the cheapest cyrwheels go for $375 on Etsy. You can get one from Antoine from Ukraine, but then you have to pay Ukraine shipping.
Yeah,
which is it takes it up to basically $500. Which is the low end of cyrwheels, but pretty run-of-the-mill for circus stuff, because most other circus stuff is around that. You're paying for a wheel. Mine's going on 5 years now, and I still use it like every day. Better wheels go for a lot more money, so they go for $800 to $1,000 are the good wheels. And then the light-up wheels go for like $2,000 to $4,000, which is why you'll not see me in a light-up wheel anytime soon. Damn. And then you can get fire wheels, which have double cyrwheels, basically. One for the fire, one for the actual wheel. And those are just super expensive. And I don't play with fire. That's too much for me. I'm not there.
I feel like I've seen some fire performers, and they have a certain way of kind of keeping the fire where you need it to be, so you don't...
Yeah.
How could you even do that with a cyrwheel?
Listen, I don't know, but people have done it before, because circus artists are legitimately insane.
Yeah, all of you.
It's not a lie. The things I've seen at circus school, but they're control. I call them controlled idiots, because you'd have to be an idiot to do circus, but in a controlled manner, because they're really smart with their bodies, but they're like, what if I did this absolute insanely unhinged trick? And you're like, yeah, that sounds right. I'm going to do that.
So let's say that I am somebody that's wanting to get into gymnastics or get into circus performing,
right,
or even get into sew or cosplay.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give that person, or what kind of obstacles would you try to guard them against?
So, I mean, for circus, it's if you want to, Aerials is your best bet. There's aerial studios everywhere nowadays. So if you want to start Circus, you start with Aerials. Usually gymnastics is harder because adult gymnastics is not everywhere. But you can find those classes. But Aerials is your best bet. There's for things that are less available, you can always get online coaching from people. Every single circus art has a Facebook group. I don't know why, but Facebook groups are the way. There's a cyrwheel group. If you ever want to like get into cyrwheel, you could contract a coach from there and just do online classes. You'd have to buy your wheel, but most people do that anyway. People sell secondhand wheels. It's a lot. And yeah, with cosplay, go to YouTube. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just go on YouTube.
YouTube is the GOAT, honestly.
I swear. I mean, I learned how to do this from Instagram, actually. I watched somebody else do it, and I was like, I'm going to try it. So, sometimes you can find things on Instagram.
I'm going to make you bigger real quick. Can you just kind of show us what it is you're actually doing?
Yeah, so I am tying little lace thingies onto a piece of... These are shorts. Here, I'm mirrored. And I'm just literally tying, and then I'm tying knots, little tiny knots over all of it, like buttonhole stitches. So it's just tedious. It's not hard. It's just tedious.
I do not have the patience. Tedium and I, no.
Yeah, that's what needlework is all about, is just patience and tedious everything.
So then are you going to be competing in the needlework category?
Yes, everything I'm doing in that costume, except for the staff, is like needlework. As I did the wig too, so I hand tied the full wig, which is a full lace. So every single strand was hand tied into the wig, which was fun. Yeah, welcome to Crown Championships, where everybody is insane.
Did you already mention who you're taking to the Crown Championships?
I mentioned, so Thranduil, the original design that I did this year, that I started last C2E2 basically, and have been working on ever since, is what I'm taking to Crown. The gigantic guy with the giant cape. This wasn't supposed to take as long as it did. I wasn't. It was supposed to take a lot shorter, but you know.
How long has it taken?
9 months. It was supposed to be a fun little like 2-month cosplay where I have some fun with it and do some stuff, and then the leaf cape happened, which is the giant cape. If you get up really close to the cape, you've got like every single piece of that is covered in beads. The whole cape is.
God, this is brown, right?
It was the orange with the silver, right? The cape with the pauldrons. Okay. Yeah, it's giant. It was based off of Game of Thrones embroidery, because the person who does that embroidery is literally amazing. So if you ever get up close to the Game of Thrones stuff, it's just textured and layered, and I just fell in love with it. And I just wanted to try it. It was supposed to take a week, and then it took 6.
I just wanted to try it. He says.
This is not a lie. This is how half of my costumes really start. It's just, I wanted to try this thing. I'm going to try it. My still suit, when I made it, I didn't know how to make armor. I was just like, I'm going to try and make armor because I desperately need a still suit in my life. I made it right after June 2021. So literally 4 days after the movie had released in theaters, I watched it, and then I made the still suit starting the next day. So I had 2 references. Brought it to C2E2 that December, and I think I brought it to every C2E2 since. Yeah, I made it in like a month, desperately wanting a still suit.
Did you just have to watch the movie over and over again?
No, I watched it twice. I had to look at 2 pictures, and then I had to look at a figurine for the back because there were no back references yet. The movie, I think, no, it was out on streaming, but I didn't have HBO Max yet.
Yeah.
It worked out fine. It looks good, and I've upgraded it because now there's actually references out. So that was fun. I'm going to bring a big sandworm this year. I'm going to try to make like a plush sandworm to walk around the con floor. I think it's fun.
So right now what I've got up is your Thranduil 2.
Yeah, stories. I need to update with the new stuff. But this is all the stuff from the leaf cape specifically, for sure.
But holy shit.
Stuff. Yeah,
right
it's all
like the headpiece with all this.
So that's one pauldron of the cape. That's
okay.
Yeah, so that's one pauldron. They get attached to the cape.
Oh God.
And then that's like a single piece. Yeah, so I like beads, if it isn't obvious.
You don't say. I have to
love
get
beads.
closer and closer just to look at all the detail.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I love that like hidden detail. Last year when I did Senator Anakin for C2, when I did Crown, my favorite thing was the judges just being like, give me every hidden detail. I'm like, this is why I compete. So that I can trap you in a room for 5 minutes and force you to look at every detail. It was very fun.
Jeez. So, do you have a life? Like, do you ever
No.
leave your house, or are you just always sewing beads?
I train every day, so I go to the YMCA. Well, I train like 4 times a week.
Oh.
I also have to coach Circus, so when I train, I also coach Circus afterwards. So I do Circus coaching, but mostly out of Circus coaching and cyrwheeling. At the moment, no, because I'm in deep con crunch, and I have been for 9. I did checkpoints for this costume, so I competed at GalaxyCon to get feedback for it, and then I competed again at a con this weekend just to get feedback for this costume. And so now I'm taking it into the final version, and then I'm going to be done. I want to be done. We're done.
You say that now until
I say that
out.
now, but I also recently restarted Senator Anakin Skywalker after telling myself I was done. And no, he's not done, because I made a new robe recently because I got silk for the holidays.
That's what you asked Santa for, was silk.
Yeah, I was like, I need 6 yards of silk. I don't want to buy it myself, and so I got it. And I was like, yeah, and now I'm beating that one as well. So that's hopefully going to be done for C2E2 as well, because this shouldn't take more than like a week or 2.
I just can't stop staring at your beads.
That's what they're there for. They're shiny. They're meant to be shiny. I love shiny.
But the texture, I'm obsessed.
The whole point. I love texture. Game of Thrones, like I said, Game of Thrones cosplay. If you ever look up close at the costumes there, that I abandoned. That got unpicked. But if you ever look at the Game of Thrones cosplay, or the costumes in the not the film, the show, you'll notice all the texture and the details that's in the embroidery, and it's kind of what this is all inspired off of, because I just wanted to try doing that inspired work, and it's a lot of layering, which was really fun.
Like hundreds of layers almost.
Yeah, it's a lot of layers. But that's what makes it look so good. That's why like the costumes in Game of Thrones are literally beautiful.
How heavy are these things?
Oh, the leaf cape is very heavy. The cape with the thousands of beads, super heavy. Probably like a few pounds just of beads and leaves and silk. But that's fine because it works really well as armor too. So it kind of creates this like structure because you add a lot of stitching underneath. And if you know anything of like tailoring, when you do pad stitching, it creates the same thing, which is just zigzag stitches to shape things. Okay. It's the same thing, so it shaped it really well. So now it's like super tough like armor, which is really cool. It's the complicated way to do armor, right? Originally this was supposed to get foam pauldrons like my elf Loki, but no, I've got all the big stuff. I think it was worth it though.
And there's so much hand stitching.
Yeah, I don't like machines. I do a lot of handwork. So I do a lot of historical work, which means all the outside stuff is handwork. I do the theatrical way of costuming, where you do everything inside by machine, all the seams, and then the outside work is all done by hand. If you're doing something, because obviously Lord of the Rings is based in like medieval sort of times, so you wouldn't have sewing machines. So what's the point of like using a sewing machine when it's more authentic? Because it's cool. Oh, that's the abandoned.
Wild. Oh, this is the abandoned?
So that one sits, that one's more just like something I would wear to a formal event now, because it just didn't end up looking very good for like competition. So I was like, we're going to let that be a thing, because I like to have different robes for my costumes. Like Thranduil, I can choose from like multiples to put together and just give him little outfits because it's fun. It sounds stupid, but it's fun to dress your characters in multiple outfits.
Super fun. Honestly, all this looks like so much stress to me. Like I'm getting anxiety just thinking of how many hours. Hours and hours.
There was a little stress at the first one because I decided to sign up for a cosplay contest to give myself a deadline in December. And by the time it hit October, I was like, am I going to get this done? No, I worked up to the week of December to get it done. And that was the first version. Yeah. and it
Well,
worked.
John says, my inner magpie is staring with glee at the robe sparklies.
That's the whole point. It's a disco ball. I am a disco ball. Because it's
what is we looking at? God, Boser. What am I looking at with this headpiece? Like, what is this
That's
made
the
of?
crown. So that's Warbler. Warbler is my favorite thing ever to make like really detailed crowns. I don't like to use it for armor because it's hard, but because it dries plastic, it heats and cools down as plastic.
It doesn't bend much.
For headpieces, it's really nice because then you can create the structure without having the flimsy of foam or clay or whatever. So yeah, it just makes really nice headpieces. And for Thranduil, obviously, when you look at his headpiece, it's got a lot of like little swirls and like really intricate like work.
Right.
So I wanted to do that in this crown because it's kind of inspired off of his original crown that I made in 2021 when I worked on the original Thranduil, which kickstarted the whole thing.
So help me out with Warbler because I haven't used that much.
Oh yeah.
Does it comes in what, like sheets, a tub, and then
sheets. So it's like giant sheets or rolls. They're kind of expensive. I got my last 2 rolls on clearance when Michaels was clearing them out.
Yeah.
But you cut them and then you can use them either to heat form to armor, or you cut them, you make little strips of them, and you use them for everything else. But it's all just heat gun and shaping and sculpting.
So these are strictly Warbler. It's not wrapped around something.
No, it's got wire in it.
Okay.
I think Warbler itself is a little too flimsy for wire, without wire for like crowns. You can use it. I've used it for rings too and jewelry, because jewelry making is something that I don't quite understand, but I just use Warbler for it. Works out just the same if you paint it right. Right. You got to use wood glue. Yeah, you got to use like wood glue to paint it.
What?
Yeah, so wood glue is a good primer. So to prime Warbler, you got to use wood glue because it makes it smooth, because Warbler's got a rough surface. And so you got to smooth it out. You can sand it, but sanding it would take forever. So I just use wood glue.
I'm learning so many little tips.
Oh yeah, I'm lazy when it comes to foam work and armor work, so I use all the like shortcuts.
Because my background is actually theater. Like I said, my degree is musical theater, and I minored in dance.
Yep.
But now I work for a community theater, and I've kind of taken over like managing the scenic painting, and now they know that I'm in this realm. So whenever they need like cosplay things, they're like, okay, what do we do? Or find somebody that can do this or knows how to do this. And so I'm always just like collecting these brilliant little tricks.
Cosplayers Cosplayers can make screen accurate costumes at about 1/3 of the cost. Which is amazing. Like all these cosplayers are like, oh no, I use curtains. I've used curtains for multiple costumes. You just go to Goodwill, you buy like the old curtains. And you just use those.
John says it's not lazy, it's efficient.
Very true, because I spend so much time on everything else. I do not want to spend time on the armor.
So, can you get to the heart of like why you do any of this? Because to an outsider, this is a lot of time. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of training. It's discipline.
Yeah.
Like geek out a second just about what you're getting out of this.
There's so for Circus specifically, the satisfaction of going on stage. And for a lot of people, giving them something they've never quite seen before, but also giving them something like theatrically emotional and super insane is really cool. Because the way they react after show. My goal when I do Circus is to make someone cry. That is my goal when I do Circus.
Is that a popular opinion in circus performing?
I mean, I do contemporary, so I do contemporary circus. So I do the theatrical Cirque du Soleil / like Seven Fingers emotional storybook like type circus where you're trying to really like tell a story with what you're doing. And so for me, that's the goal. And if I make someone cry, then I've achieved that because it's done something.
It's effective.
Which I think is really cool. Yeah. And I think, I mean, for cosplay and circus together, it's creating the characters and giving them a life, because I love these characters, if it isn't obvious. And
You
I
don't
want to
take
give
this
them
much time for things you don't love.
right, and I love them, and I want to give them a different way of just bringing them to life. Because how many times you're going to see Loki on a wheel randomly, right?
Right.
And
So, are
it's
you
really
saying that
cool.
even when you're putting together these performance as like Loki, the
Yeah.
storytelling that you would do in the cyrwheel as Loki would be different than as Anakin?
Oh yeah, yeah. I love doing character work. So I am also theatrically trained because I took many theater classes in circus school.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of theater training, and so yeah, I take a lot of pride in making sure that my characters, when I use them, are different than other characters that are being used. So my Anakin is very much a little more edgy. Loki and Anakin are very similar. Hold on, Loki, Anakin, and Paul Atreides are very similar as characters.
Okay.
um,
So their
but
performances would feel maybe related.
they're just edgy. They're edgier. Like Legolas is all smooth, and then Paul Atreides is person who's about to ruin the entire world, and Anakin's person who's on the track to ruining the entire world. Uh, if that makes sense.
So then
But
how do you translate that into a spinning wheel?
this is the fun part. This is what I am trained in circus. So I take
I'm
the
waiting.
work. So I love to take the movements that this character would do. I study. I've seen the Clone Wars. I've seen all these films so many times, and you take that movement, you take the character, you take their motives, you take what they're doing, and you translate that into your head, your eyes, your fingers, and then the rest of the body can follow suit. But yeah, because for cyrwheel you need to be pretty specific on movement. You really take that into the face and the hand. The hands are really important. I do a lot of emphasis on hands, which is really fun. But Anakin's a little more sharp. Loki has like his magic fingers. Legolas has the elf eyes and the elf fingers. And then Zuko's obviously firebending. So there's all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Did you try to incorporate the actual firebending techniques into your steer wheel?
Not yet. I have yet to rewatch. I'm rewatching. I'm currently working on it. I have to rewatch Avatar first so that I kind of know what I'm doing. But it's been a hot second since I watched Avatar.
I'm so excited for this live action.
Right,
Right.
right. It's gonna. Hopefully, they're gonna
Fuck
do
you,
it
M. Night.
well. Because they better.
I know, and just looking at the casting, I've been keeping tabs on it, not as closely maybe as I should now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, right, right. But there's so many other shows coming out that I'm trying to keep tabs on those shows, and then there's so much random stuff coming out. But yeah, no release dates yet.
It's hard being a geek nowadays to keep up with all your passions.
Right. One of the
Totally
great things about
expect it.
yeah, when I do all my long hours of beating, I just watch all the things. I caught up. I watched all of like She-Hulk while doing I don't know exactly what, but it was some form of beating while watching that. I caught up on all the other shows as Marvel puts out shows like candy nowadays.
Yeah, with the last director in place or executive
Yeah.
producer, whatever he was. But now they're
Yeah.
going back to Bye Bye Iger, so I think we're gonna get the golden age.
Hopefully get a little more movies. But also Percy Jackson's coming back, right? And then like we got all the other like Star Wars stuff. So much.
I'm here for it.
I want Dune Part 2 specifically though, but I have to wait till later in the year.
How
I
long?
just want costumes. It's like November, I think. So that's when the next part comes out. But I just want more costumes.
Is that why you're watching all these, just to find inspiration for your next cosplays?
Sometimes, usually, I mean, I've got cosplays planned. I've got my list of costumes probably spans into next year if I, do a lot of stuff, because after this, I've got my Anakin that's being remade, and then I'm finally doing a new costume of my own Paul Atreides design from when he ends up becoming basically the god of Arrakis for a little bit. That's a book costume. That's like a super nerdy one, but it's just super giant. And then I've got a whole bunch of other random stuff that I found. Been hoarding stuff for elven armor that I keep buying. Whenever I see it on sale or whenever I go. I went to a Ren fair, bought like a hide of gold leather for it.
Ooh.
Been hoarding stuff for it for the past year, so I think eventually that has to happen.
I hate Cantina. I came here to spread love and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Thanks for the love, Cantina. Miss you. It feels like it's been days since we've spoken. Days. Well, if you're just joining us, we're hanging out. Zack, Herzig, Scarred Mewtwo, circus performer, and incredible needlework sewer. And again, you didn't know how to do this before 2019. Thanks, YouTube.
Nope, I did not.
Insane.
I made like 1 or 2 seams on my mom's sewing machine when I was a teenager because I wanted to learn. I just never figured it out. And so eventually I was like, oh, okay. YouTube. But also all my stuff wasn't very good. I didn't consider myself good until I finished my still suit because that was like the first time I figured something out completely unhinged.
I gotta go find your still suit now.
My still suit is somewhere in there. I post a lot of pictures of it because I make it. It makes me very happy. It is like I think it is my favorite costume. Oh yeah, that's when I decided to do it. I watched Dune. Yep, there it is.
This is so cool.
So I made it almost entirely out of fabric instead of using foam. I had to use foam for the pattern because the pattern's a puzzle. And then they used rubber. I want to make it out of rubber one day, because in the original film, I think they used rubber, but rubber's expensive. So eventually I'll try to find the right texture and all that. But right now it's EVA foam. Oh yeah, I designed a sexy sandworm. I think fishnet costumes at like 10 p.m. at a con are the funniest thing.
You say that again?
So the picture of the poll of the random sandworm that you saw is one in fishnets, because I think fishnet costumes are so funny at cons, but only at like 10 p.m. when people show up in these like characters you wouldn't expect to have and wear fishnets to suddenly wear fishnets. It's so funny.
Well, Cantina's currently wearing plastic cat ears and playing oh so invigorating Gabby's Dollhouse board game.
Valid.
Play on the stream. You won't. You've made me speechless, Zack.
I mean, that was the first version. That one was my first ever foam armor, so I had to do it like 4 more times.
Jeez.
Because I didn't know what I was doing, and so I just like kept going, and I think I had like 3 sets of armor before one. They didn't fit me right, so they all kind of like were either too high here, so I couldn't do this, or they were too low, or they were too big here, so they were uncomfy. So I kept going. I think that's the one that actually got used. Because the thing is, it's a puzzle, right? The still suit has layers that go up here. So I didn't know that, and I eventually figured out, oh, there's a whole layer here before the front top bit that goes in. It's all a puzzle. Like I remember making it and being so confused, but wearing it, I forget how confused I was. I forgot. I was like, oh wait, no, this sucked. And it did, but it was also very fun and rewarding. And I eventually, after that, found the screen accurate gloves. So you can buy the screen accurate gloves because they're just like support gloves. And so I eventually sourced the screen accurate gloves, but that took a hot second because they weren't yet. This was again before pretty much anybody. I think it was one of the first Dune cosplayers. I wore it to C2E2 2021, and there was nobody else cosplay. That's C2E2 2021. First cosplayer of Dune. And I think only 4 people showed up last year in Dune, so that was really sad. So hopefully there'll be more this year.
Dune meetup.
There's like no Dune meetup. We're not that cool. We're not Star Wars. I always miss the meetups because I always cosplay on the wrong day, the same character.
Well, how can you keep track of all the Discord servers that you have to be a part of to get to all the meetups?
Oh my god, I'm just in the Facebook groups. Like I'm in all the con Facebook groups. That's really it. I go in Discord, but I literally only stalk whatever groups I'm in. So I stalk groups. Oh yeah, I made a joke. So that's my favorite joke ever of all time. My favorite joke of all time. Nobody gets it. Nobody got it, but it's really funny to the like 5 people who do.
You know what? It's a smart joke, and a smart audience will find it funny.
Exactly. If you like Dune, you like that.
Can I also shout you out about your makeup skills? Like you can transform your face.
It's because I cosplay mostly characters that look like me. Fun fact. Because the characters that look like me, I've been told Tom Hiddleston, Timothée Chalamet, I think is my biggest lookalike from the eyes up, which obviously Paul Atreides is Timothée Chalamet. So yeah, that's fun. And then Tom Hiddleston's the other one that just super goes. Like, I get Tom Hiddleston at every con, which is really fun.
Yeah, you do kind of give Tom Hiddleston, but for sure the Timothy Chalamet.
It's the Timothy Chalamet. It's always Timothy Chalamet. I didn't realize that. I was like, wait a second.
From the eyes up. Oh my god.
From the eyes up. So that's a fun fact.
Well, Zach, you're nothing less than impressive in every way to me. And if you haven't already, y'all, go use Command Mewtwo and go follow him. Not only on Instagram, go follow him on TikTok and everywhere, all the things. And then go to C2E2 and hang out with him.
Go to C2E2. I'm gonna be a hallway nuisance because I'm gonna wear long things with big trains. So you might get tripped.
I'll just look for the
shiny. I'm a disco ball. I'm very easy to spot the entire weekend.
And when I find you, you'll act like you know me?
Probably. I probably won't remember your face exactly because I'll be very tired. But you'll just have to be like, I'm this. And I'm like, okay, now I know you.
I don't even know if I'm cosplaying, so hopefully I don't look super weird.
We all look super weird at cons no matter what because you're very tired and then you're probably super tired from the night before because parties. C2E2 has a real fun after dark party.
Oh, hell yeah. In the lobby there?
Okay, that's the Friday party. Then there's the Saturday party that's like a rave and like a party all at once in the halls.
Yeah, right after
the cosplay contest. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
They got all the parties. And C2E2 knows how to party. I think it's my favorite convention out of all the cons I've been to.
It definitely is for me too, but I consider it more like my home cosplay because it's the biggest, closest to me, and it's like the big con that I ever went to.
And they bring the cosplayers bring it every year. Like that's the high level cosplay. Like place if you want to go show off your big costumes, you got all the dudes and their cameras there. Just like scouring the cosplayers, being like, who should I film next? You want attention, you go to C2E2.
Hi, I like attention. I go to C2E2.
Yeah, that's me. I literally say that all the time. I'm like, hi, I like attention.
I'm a little late on my cosplay, so if I try to throw something together now, it's gonna be I've got a prompto.
You're gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. I have friends. I've got friends who've literally made a costume the week before a con and it looked great.
Well, something tells me that the friends that you have that are able to make things can do it so much better and faster and more efficiently than I could if I started now.
Yeah, it'll be fine. He'll survive.
I'll survive. I'll have a good time. That's all that's going to matter.
There we go. No one cares if your cosplay is actually good. They just want cool cosplay. I get more pictures as Loki because I'm Loki than I do in any of my crazy builds. People just like the big characters.
Yeah. But you're like, but I only put a portion of the time into this one. You should see the other one.
Right. It's always that, but yeah. It's always Loki.
Well, Zach, what do you say I hit you with a quick round of lightning questions?
Oh, yes.
So these are random assortment of questions.
Yeah.
Try not to think too long.
Yeah.
Fire
My phone is currently on 20%, so good.
Okay. We're wrapping up. We'll
great.
For these and a round or two are categories and call it a night.
Great.
Sound good?
If my phone dies on you, I apologize.
If we need to wrap up now, say the word.
And no, I got 20% left.
Okay. We're golden.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Mint, chocolate, no. Yes. There we go. Go.
Say anything in Spanish.
Brain fart.
Do you believe in fate?
Maybe.
What's your favorite number?
8.
Have you ever worn socks with sandals?
Do Crocs count?
Yeah, if your toes.
Okay. And Crocs.
Sure. Name a primate besides a monkey and an ape.
Chimpanzee.
Why can't we tickle ourselves?
Brains.
What does a person need to be happy?
Not capitalism.
All right. What's the best age?
Oh god. 21, because you can do everything, but your body isn't breaking yet.
God. Heard. If Voldemort offered you a hug, would you accept?
No.
Is double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
I mean, I don't know. Probably not. That's gross.
All right, good job. You made it.
Okay, good. Good.
Your poor brain. I can see the steam.
I'm so tired. It's the con brain. I was up till 2 a.m. on Saturday night playing Smash. Got
Hell
roasted
yeah.
the entire time because I hadn't played in 5 years.
Smash is not a forte of mine at all.
Oh, no, I was bad at it. But that's fine because it was fun.
And that's what it's all about.
Exactly. Though I do main Sonic, so people hate me. For some reason.
Everyone hates a Sonic main.
Yeah, it's also Lucario, so the two characters.
Well, once again, if you haven't already, y'all go follow Zack. Follow his incredible journey because it's only going to get more incredible. And
Maybe a Dragon Con.
What you're going to create next?
I don't know. Question mark.
And I love that you just have this idea of like, I don't know what my life is. I don't know where I'm going to be, but I'm just on the ride, hanging on.
I'm here for it.
Wheel.
You know?
Grabbing that steer wheel of life by the steer
By
wheel?
the wheel. I don't know, man. It's just a single wheel.
Yeah. Okay, let's end the stream with a round or so of categories. For those who don't know what categories is, we have different categories of different things, and we each have about 10 seconds to go back and forth naming something that would fit in that category and see whose brain shuts down first.
Okay.
It's a race to break them. I stole this little timer out of a Blockbuster game. It's like a board game about old
As you
movies.
should.
It's kind of making an annoying noise, but it'll let us know when we get 10 seconds. Every time we answer, I'll push the button and it'll give us another 10 seconds.
Okay.
All right, so I'll give you some options. You tell me what's going to help hurt your brain less.
Okay.
A category of film and TV involving elves,
Yeah.
items at a circus,
Yeah.
or items used in making cosplay.
I want to go with the circus because I know a lot of weird disciplines.
Yeah, you have quite the advantage here, but you're the guest, so you should.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
On your mark, you can go first. Get set.
Okay.
Go.
A silk.
Elephants,
Standing ladders.
peanuts,
Men flying off of each other.
a trapeze.
Flying trapeze.
Are they different?
Yeah.
God. Clowns,
Horses.
lions,
Trampolines.
a big tent.
Contortionists.
Tell me in the chat if the sound is like incredibly annoying. Oh shit. Mustaches.
Handstands.
I'm thinking like 1920s circus right now.
You really are.
I really am. Is that offensive?
No, it's still part of circus, but died a few years ago.
Jesus. 3 rings.
Chinese poles.
Chinese what?
Chinese poles. They're rubber poles that hurt really bad.
What is that? What's a Chinese
You
pole?
just do. It's like a pole, but it's rubberized, so you do a bunch of crazy tricks on it.
Chinese pole. We love
Chinese
Googling
pole.
on stream. Good job. You took that one. I was too slow on the 3 rings. Yeah. Like, I guess that's the last time I went to a circus was when it was still really cheapy like that.
Oh yeah, no, those died. I think when Ringling kind of disappeared.
So what's a circus like now?
It's like a theater show, but with more flips.
I guess like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, that's kind of the main type. If you look at Seven Fingers, you'll find a lot of good stuff too. They're another Montreal circus company.
Okay.
They do artsy stuff.
All right, let's do one last one before our brains shut down completely.
Okay.
From that other list, the elf movies or circus movies, shonen anime, film, TV involving demons, items used in cosplay. You choose.
Right. My brain's gonna shut down fast, but items, no, movies with demons.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We can do this. We
I
do
can
this.
try.
We can only try. It's all the world can ask of us. Okay. I'll let you go first again. Ready? Your mark?
Yeah.
Set. Go.
Supernatural.
Buffy.
Lucifer.
Charmed.
The Devil is a part-timer.
Ooh, nice. High School DxD.
Death Note.
Soul Eater? Are those demons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, at this point. I don't think so. I think that's it. For me. Blue Exorcist.
Oh, nice. Right on the buzzer. What's the one? What's the sequel to Blue Exorcist? Oh, shit. I was trying to think while you were thinking. And
Yeah.
I was with nothing. So I was like, great, he's going to lose. And then I'm going to lose.
Oops. Hard.
God, you know what?
Yeah.
It's a Monday.
It's hard.
It's always a Monday.
Yep.
Way to go. You really pulled those out, though. I was impressed.
I tried.
Zack Herzig, you are so cool. And you were just like working the whole time, being productive.
It's just because my hands don't know what else to do. I did this in class whenever I had Zoom classes in school. I did this. You know?
How close to finishing did you get during this?
I got a lot done actually. It needs to be ironed, but like I got a lot of like random stuff down here. Just needs a good iron because it's all crinkly.
Well, I'm impressed. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard it today, somebody's proud of you.
Great, thanks.
Where can people go to support you? Is Instagram and TikTok the best?
Instagram and TikTok are currently my big spaces. I will be opening and launching a Patreon in the next month. I just need to film some content for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let us know when that happens, and we will tell the world about it.
Yeah, I mean, I will not be quiet about it for a while because I will have filmed a lot of fun content for it. I have a YouTube channel that I post once every 5 months on. It's Zack H on YouTube.
Okay. And they can go to. You have a site.
I do have a website, but it's not. You can just find it through my Instagram.
Yeah, that's how I found it.
It just loads really slow.
Kinda does.
But that's the fault of WordPress, not my own.
Yeah.
Because I'm cheap. Got the cheap site. Eventually I'll upgrade, but I like mine.
It's got some cool stuff on it.
Yeah, it's got everything.
Y'all go check it out. Well, thanks for everyone in the chat for joining us. Again, this is Monday nights. We do this every day, except not every day, every Monday, except actually not next Monday, because it's that time of the month when I've got a show that's opening and I have to work on a Monday. So you won't see me next Monday. You should see me the next Monday after that. Keep tabs on who the guest is, because I don't have the list in front of me. I'm terrible. But T is going to be streaming on Wednesday. Join it. We might have a special guest, somebody that we know and love that you haven't seen in a while. And Thursday, we will not have a City of Mist episode because on Friday, we are doing a live finale. So if you've been enjoying that campaign, that TTRPG, we're wrapping it up on Friday. It's going to be live right here. And so you can join in the conversation. We usually pre-record them, but this is the time when you can join it and put this sucker to bed, see what kind of absurdity is going to be happening with T at the helm. And we've got a lot of cool things down the line. But for now, Zack and I have to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Me too. But I really do appreciate you, even though you are super tired.
That's fine. It's after a con. It's my fault.
No, but you could have said, dude, it's after a con. Let's reschedule. Which also would have been fine. But
yeah,
I appreciate you putting the time. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me where we're taking the energy here. Tell me who to raid while we're wrapping up. But we have a certain way we end. We like to say, I always forget to tell my guests this. We're gonna each say our names, and then I'm gonna say, and you just keep, and we say geeking out together.
Okay.
Okay, that's how we end. But until next time, I am Boser.
I am Zack.
And you just keep
Geeking out.
Yeah, good. You nailed it. Goodbye.